Always love the first day of school. Welcome back. I missed you. Welcome, everybody. Your first day at the Academy. The Fighter Academy. The most prestigious place to be on this side of Twitch. If you're about leveling up, then this is the place you want to be at. It's your boy Zaffarino, Professor Zaffarino, and I'm here to level up your game inside and outside of Street Fighter. Care to join me? Good. Take a seat. Relax. Let's have a little fun. What's going on, my peoples? Everybody in the chat? I know it's been a long time. It's been a very long time, actually. Took a nice little hiatus after Canada Cup. And I feel amazing. I feel refreshed. I feel better than I've ever been. And I'm glad to be back with this new energy, this great stream experience that I'm going to be providing for you guys. Because I know you guys have never left my side. You guys have always been loyal to the soil ever since you've tuned in. So I'm just giving back bigger and better than ever. So, this is very different, you know. Just not used to looking so dapper on my stream. Just gotta tuck this bad boy in. So, guys, today is going to be our first day in the new academy. All right. So, the way we're gonna go about things is gonna be relatively the same as our previous sessions, but this time we're gonna have this gangsta intro, right, that I showed you guys. And then you're gonna have this fly bad hammer jammer of a professor right in front of you. And then we also got better equipment. So now my equipment won't suffer and bug the hell out like it was prior instances. I got a new capture device. We're good to go, all right? You don't have to worry about stuttering. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. We're back. All right, and the stream is only going to get better as I get more and more creative. All right, guys. So let's get into it. So let's talk about defense, because I've been looking at my videos. And some people have been asking me, hey, can you help me out with, like, defense? And, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, understandably so. Defense is, like, one of those things that people just don't know how to go about. And people die really fast in this game. I'm not going to lie to you. It is what it is. All right? So we're going to talk about improving our defense. The handy dandy notebook is out. I don't know if you guys saw it when I was in my Smash, hidden character thing going on, but I brought the notebook back out. Hurrah, hurrah. We're back. So let's talk about improving our defense. So what is defense? Obviously, defense is when you are defending, you are blocking, all right, and you have to react or respond to your opponent's offense, to whatever they are dictating at any given moment in a match, all right? You can be defending while you are standing up, while you're in block stun, while you're cornered, while you're knocked down. All right, so there are different situations where you're going to be defending. Or when you're even air reset, you can technically be defending, right? Because the scenario, your opponent is the one dictating it, and you are in a set animation for whatever, right? On a knockdown, on an air reset. That's why I would consider those defensive situations also. All right, but even so, like you sitting there and maintaining a ground, that is a defensive position. That doesn't mean you're defending. When you're defending, it's more so you're being attacked. All right, your opponent is dictating. They're just doing things and you have to respond. Like in chess, you have the white piece and you have the black piece. The white piece goes first, so therefore, because it's a turn-based game, black has to defend. All right. Street Fighter is not turn-based, but when somebody is on the offense, that means somebody else is going to be on the defense, most likely. All right. So with defense, there are two requirements that I think people don't have, whether they overlook or don't know exists, to be honest, that if they were aware of it, it would completely shift their paradigm. They'd be like, whoa, and become much more adept at defending, okay? They'd be a lot sharper. They'd have more confidence. They wouldn't panic so much. The reason why a lot of people have bad defense is because in defensive situations, they make it the end-all, be-all in a weird way. You know what I'm saying? Phantom, thank you so much. I think that's... You know what's crazy? That's actually Phantom that drew the intro for the stream, and he just subbed to me. I appreciate that so much. Wait, was that a tier 1 sub? Wait a minute. Whoa, wait, whoa. Wait a minute. Tier 1 sub. Isn't that the highest? That's the most? Am I crazy? Or am I crazy? Oh, that's normal? Oh, man. I was about to say, that's crazy. Because there's one person that subbed to me on the highest one, and I was like, oh my god, why did you do that? Giving me a heart attack. Tier 3 is the highest. Regardless, I appreciate Phantom. And I love him dearly. The amount of, that artwork it's immaculate. Have you guys seen it? Like, it's so good. It's so good. Like, if you guys have any commissions that you'd like, go to him. He'll take care of you. Fact. Alright? Japanese dub Zaf. Ohayo zafu no desu. Genki desu ka? Cool. Yeah, it's really good. That shit is amazing. Alright. So, with the 2 requirements for defense, I was saying, you have an outer and an inner focus, alright? So, what I mean by that is that these 2 things, they are like situations. Chris Wynn, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it, Broham. Much love to you. So, I would say for this. So, for the outer and the inner requirements, these are things that you would want to... I guess they're focuses. They are focuses. So you have an outer focus and an inner focus that if you were to maintain it, you'd be in a much better position defensively. Ultra, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it, Broham. Thank you. I feel like I'm going to get interrupted this entire stream because so many of you guys just haven't seen me in a long time. But I understand. I get it. Thank you guys so much. So for the outer, we talk about vision, and vision is what you focus on defensively. So whenever you are in a match, right, there's tons of things going on. I can easily show this to you. All right. Now, you have all of these meters. Okay, you have all of these meters, and essentially a lot of things to look at. So usually when there's a lot of information, your brain doesn't know what to do with it, so it just kind of ignores it, okay? Depending on the situation, depending on what you focus on, it's going to tell you what is the best course of action to go about defensively. So from now on, don't tell yourself you have bad defense, because you'll start to believe it. So whenever you're in situations that are not in your favor, you're going to act like you have bad defense, all right? In a game like this, everybody can have bad defense, but it's all about the mental composure that you have, that resilience that you have to stay in the moment. The second that you escape the moment and you start to exist in the past, that is when your defense becomes terrible. All right? That's when you can get conditioned. That's when you can get opened up. That's when you can become confused. It's all about what you focus on. So if you can figure out how to center your focus, which is why I recommend meditation and exercising, anything that causes pain, like exercise is really good because it makes you in the moment, right? You can't run away from pain because it hurts. But if you can create this focus and you can harness it and channel it, it will keep you centered and you won't panic, you won't become emotional. And you'll be able to have infinite possibilities and choices as opposed to a very limited amount of options had you been emotional and just panicking. Okay. Now, that's what you focus on. And the second thing is the acceptance. So acceptance is a very big thing because if you talk to a lot of people in the community, which is why I highly recommend you guys come to this stream, because we get rid of that toxic pollution that a lot of people believe in. A lot of times you'll talk to people and you'll hear in their dialogue that the things that they are intolerant of, a lot of things that frustrate them, that anger them in the game, and they don't realize that it's this same internal friction and resistance that they have towards those things that causes them to not be good players. So what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, somebody keeps jumping at you and you get pissed off. I was super guilty of this in the past, right? Especially before my hiatus. But I could see, like, how destructive this mindset is. So this is why I'm bringing this up. Well, let's say somebody keeps jumping, right? And I am a player that likes to play smart, okay? Now, because I have this opinion of playing smart, I've created this separation between what I like and what somebody does, potentially. So if somebody does something outside of my tastes and my preferences, I get frustrated because it's like, this isn't Street Fighter. Why are you still jumping even though I anti-aired you 7 times in a row? And then they jump that 8th time, and then you get hit, and you get a massive combo, corner carry, Oki, pressure, meter advantage in their favor, all sorts of stuff that goes wrong, right? Now, it is acceptance that is causing this to happen because you're not accepting the fact that it is a fighting game. There are 2 people playing. It's not training mode where it's just me right now and Ken staying still, all right? A real fight looks like this. This is what a real fight looks like. It looks like this, okay? You need to understand that it's not just you dancing. If you want to just dance by yourself, then go break dance, all right? Take turns like that. Go play chess or something. But in the moment, both of us are fighting. Both of us are doing things. Anytime somebody does something, it is because that is their interpretation on how to win. So I bring this back because I'm trying to show you guys that all of this frustration and this impatience, it just shows that there's some sort of internal resistance that you have mentally towards the game, towards a life, towards a particular play style. That's not really real. That resistance isn't real, okay? So acceptance is very important. You need to, as things happen, I'm not saying that you won't grow frustrated, because frustration, emotions, they will come with you for the rest of your life. You can't just get rid of emotions. That is false. That's not real. It's not realistic. What I'm saying is that as things occur, you want to see them for what it is and not what you want it to be, all right? Somebody jumps at me, oh, he jumped. That's it. Nah, he jumped. He's an idiot. He's a fucking, I can't stand this guy. He puts milk in before he puts a cereal. Like, no, just accept it, okay? Acceptance is so simple, and I know it might be too simple for some of you, but remember, it's complexity that kills the childlike state. The childlike state is how we learn, okay? That is how you learn, is when you are in that infancy stage of anything, all right? Anytime you first pick something up and you're willing to believe that you're not, you are not all-knowing, that's what allows you to grow at something, okay? So we'll go back to vision. So vision, the outer focus, it depends on several factors defensively. So you have your opponent's archetype, okay? So you have grapplers, you have rushdown characters, all right? You have dive kick characters. So depending on the opposing character, when you're on the defensive, you're gonna want to focus on what their options are, okay? So if I'm fighting against Ken, or Ken has me, he's rushing me down, and he's here, the only real way he can open me up, aside from a chip situation where he can chip into super and kill me, the only real thing that he can do to inflict damage outside of chip is to throw me. He has to throw me, or he has to overhead me, right? That's what he has to do if I'm blocking. Of course, I can tech the throw, and I can block overhead. All right, but it gets a little trickier when you play against a grappler, because a grappler, they can command grab you. You can't tech a command grab, so that becomes a completely different philosophy. So what you'd want to do is you want to remember the options against command grabs. I think a lot of times when people go into matches, when they go to the character select and they see who their opponent's character is, they don't assess what their options are. All right, because everybody's kind of too busy focusing on how do they want to win, all right? If you have come to my stream before, you know I've emphasized the importance of knowing how to lose. You have to know and decide how you want to lose, okay? So what I mean by that is I'm not saying you're going to go out and just lose. What I'm saying is that you are going to stick to what you want to do or what you're trying to do to the point where the only way they would beat you is if they do the direct counter, all right? That's what I'm saying. So defensively, that's what I am suggesting that you practice, all right? So and that's gonna go into we're gonna go further into that when we get back to the acceptance aspect of this. But if you have your opponent's archetype, all right, but not only do you have that, you have their meter management. So when Ken has access to meter, all right, I'm gonna record it on the 5th. when he has access to meter, his options change because now he can do the jump EX into Tatsu, right? I mean, granted, it's not plus, I believe, anymore like it used to be, but it's still something that's very fast and it can throw you off, right? And potentially catch you pressing buttons. He also has Fireball, and then of course when he has V-Trigger, this becomes a thing, right? So that's something you have to look out for. So whenever you're on the defensive, you have all of these options to focus on. So this sounds overwhelming, but I'm gonna simplify it in the end. I'm just giving you all of what we're talking about as it is on my paper, okay? So you have meter management. Primarily, I think the best thing to focus on when it comes to meter management-based defensive decisions are your health, okay? So your health, I think, is a very, very important factor, of course, because it's like, if I'm not going to take a lot of damage, if this isn't going to kill me, then it's okay for me to take a throw, all right? I think a lot of people, they make the mistake because of that mindset of they have to win. They think they have to win every situation, and that is false. That is a fallacy. That's not real. Get rid of that belief. That's something we have to unlearn. You don't have to win every situation. You just have to win the situations that are worth winning. Okay, guys? All right, guys? I want you guys to type that in the chat. I want you guys to write that shit down. I want you guys to breathe that fact in. Just... okay? You don't have to win every situation. Just the ones that are worth winning. That's it. So, if that means me taking a throw, right? And then all of a sudden my opponent doesn't really have pressure anymore, but they're not on top of me, then that's good. Because it's much better to take a throw than for somebody to be inside a throw range and then, like, you know, they're just hitting me with gray health and then the throw gets more and more dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you have to pick your battles and you have to win the situations that are worth winning. Ultra, thank you. Following directions. I remember that. I'll remember that. Unlike 35 of you other guys in the room. Forget you guys. No, I'm just joking. Yeah. So no, not always take the throw, but just in certain situations, like if I have this full health, it's worth me taking it. You know? It's worth me taking it. But it changes drastically when my health dips to that 10% where that health can kill me. Or that throw can kill me and deplete my health entirely, you know? So like, this is much scarier. Not in this situation, because I know this won't kill me. But in this situation, yeah, this is terrifying. I don't know if I want to take the throw or not, you know? Because now it becomes a guess. This is the battle you want to learn, alright? So which battle is worth winning, or, you know, that's what you want to decide based off of health. Health, I think, is the biggest indicator. Because it helps you relax. You're like, yo, I'm not going to lose if they throw me, right? Now I'm dead. I'm going to give you the other side of the coin of this, right? So let's say I am in the corner. Oh, actually, let me go back here. This is what happens when I take a throw. I lose all of that. All right. What's going on, Mike? Thank you for tuning in, bro. Finesse, what's going on, man? Okay, so let's say another example of meter-based decisions are, like, you see my stun, right? So I am not a throw away from stun, right? Because as you've seen earlier, when he threw me, I didn't get stunned. Now if that he's inside of, like, you know, like I'm in that throw range for stun, it's scary because if they throw me, the combo starter is going to do mad damage because it was off of one hit in theory because it was a throw, right? So that's when it's scary. But when I have this much, I don't need to worry about that. Okay, it's like, okay, you can throw me, it's fine. You're not gonna, if you don't have an overhead that can combo into some massive damage, then I'm not really worried about that, okay? And even so, let's say you did have an overhead that comboed into something, right? Like a Buki's or whatever. Is it enough to kill me? If I were to do the math and it doesn't kill me on the follow-up combo, then it's okay, you know, as opposed to you getting hit with a low forward, you know what I'm saying? And then that gets turned into a ton of damage by some sort of V-trigger conversion, all right? So you have to ask yourself which one is worth me potentially getting damage from. Is it from the overhead, or is it from a V-trigger combo off of a low if I think overhead's coming and I don't look for it? And, you know, or if I just preemptively try to block it instead of reacting to it, okay? So we'll go back to this example. So now we're looking at the stun, right? So this is why I was saying you want to be careful with certain defensive decisions, because you see, now I get stunned. I wasn't going to get stunned from the throw, but I teched. Okay, so now we'll talk about why this is a really dangerous decision, right? This is why it's important to assess your options. What's going on, Mariano? Thank you for tuning in, Broham. So this is why it's important to assess your decisions, because you put yourself in a worse situation because you overreacted. This is essentially overreacting, all right? This is, by me teching, why? Asian boy, what's going on, man? Thank you for the follow. Alright? So now we talk about the meter management aspect of it too. So if you also look at it, you'll see that your opponent builds bar too. That's something that we tend to ignore, alright? So let me see, I'm going to...
I appreciate that.
Let me turn off this, alright? Alright, so let's say I get hit by this, alright? Look, he's building bar now, alright? Look how much bar he built. As opposed to if I were to just block, that's not a lot, you know? And now he's in a bad situation. So you're winning in multiple ways by defending well. You don't just win off of one decision, but that's the thing a lot of people tend to make a mistake of. They think they win off of one decision, and they think they lose off of one decision, both of which are not true, okay? And I'm going to disprove that, and I'm going to show you a really dope clip after this to wrap up the stream. But, yeah. So, spacing is another thing. So, let's talk about spacing. So, if Ken, alright, has me... Let's say Ken has me right here. A lot of times people will...
I appreciate that.
Right? Mike, thank you for the sub. I appreciate... Oh, James... Who's that? James, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it, guys. Much love to you, of course. So, guys, check this out. So, let's say this frame trap happens, right? A lot of times people will tech right here. Now, spacing is another thing that tells you what is a good option defensively, okay? Spacing tells you what is a potential threat at this spacing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, he's not in throw range. Why do I have to worry about a throw, right? There's nothing for me to... I don't have to worry about this. Well, sometimes people do that. A lot of times, too, people will do a jab or they'll press a button, but their button's not in range. And now they can get whiff punished. See, me, when I put people in block stun, I'll pay attention to what the counter put button is. Alright? So then on purpose, I'll put myself at a range where, well, they'll whiff, right? So let's say this Ryu likes to do crouching medium kick into fireball or something, right? And they like to V-trigger, right? Let's pretend that. So, see how offensively he put me out of range? You have to be aware of your spacing. So you know that he can't throw you, so it's okay. You don't have to tech. But you do know that he's trying to reestablish his offense at some point, right? So what you could do here, this is a small tactic, is if you see somebody standing, you do a longer, low-hitting poke. This is why you see a lot of people when they shimmy against high-level players, you'll see the defensive player, they'll do like a reversal sweep or something. Something with very little risk behind it if they have V-trigger, right? So they could just kind of commit to it. That's why a lot of Guile players do that. So if you were to play against Guile, this is just kind of a side bit. If you're playing against a Guile player and they have V-trigger and you're frame trapping them, and you put yourself at max distance of sweep range, sometimes it's just good to neutral jump because they're going to whiff both of the hits of their sweep underneath you. You know? So just something to think about. It's really good to do it against him because a lot of Guiles, they just do that, you know? Because the 7-frame button has really good reach. So it makes sense in theory, but you can turn that against them, all right? So spacing. So spacing is important also when combined with frame advantage. So you see here that the Ken player does this stand strong, right? And he's +2, all right? So it's important to be mindful of the advantage, of course, right? Because let's say he does something like that. I don't even know if this would be in range, but we're gonna try it. Okay, I got hit, right? I got hit with a jab. Let's just say crouching jab. I'll do a crouching jab. He hit me there, okay? But if you're aware of his advantage defensively, You know that you can't do the long poke to hit him, right? Because it's too slow. I'm gonna get counter hit. Right? So after the block string, I can just interrupt with a faster poke. Right? And that's just enough to get him off of you. And like, imagine on the defensive too. This is good in the corner because you're creating space, right? You see how that works in the corner because I can't really move back from his pressure. See how I'm getting pushed back? So that's why this doesn't combo mid-screen. But it works in the corner because there's not as much pushback, alright? So that's how you can turn a situation where they're on advantage against them by just slipping in a button that's faster than them. Because when they're at that range, the pokes that would hit you at that range after somebody hits you with 2 medium pokes, generally it has to be a medium or a heavy attack. And generally medium or heavy attacks are slow on startup, correct? So, with that being said, with a few exceptions like good old Cammy, because Cammy could do stand medium punch, stand heavy punch, which is really cheap because it's a 3-frame trap. But not many characters have access to that. So if you know a frame advantage and you know spacing and you're really alert, then you can basically just kind of play it out. You can punish somebody for it, alright? Another thing too though is if somebody's committing to this because they see that you're trying to counter poke with buttons, then you can just wait and whip punish. Oops. Alright. And then you could turn that knockdown into a situation where you get out of the corner. Right? And now you're going back mid-screen to where you were winning previously or something like that, okay? So, I know it might have overwhelmed you because I did say a lot, but to simplify this, out of the things that I just told you, which were the 4 things to focus on, defensively you have to be very honest with yourself. You have to ask yourself, when you're on the defensive, which one do you least likely acknowledge on the screen? Which option defensively? And then work on it. Work on just that. So let's say I'm playing, right? I'm playing somebody online, or I'm playing somebody in a set, I'm playing somebody in a tournament, whatever. And I know that I tend to not look at spacing, right? I tend to not look at the spacing of my opponent when they're pressuring me. Then what I want to do is I just want to focus on that primarily, okay? That's basically it. Now, here's another awesome little tidbit to simplify this even further. So, offensively, your opponent does pressure, right? They pressure you. Yeah, okay, cool. But at a certain point, they're not in range to threaten you with throw. Alright? So see, like, this is why it's important, I think, to play multiple characters, so that you're aware of little things like this. But we know that Ken can't throw me after this. He can't throw me after this. Alright? But let's say for some reason, after I was blocking, and he threw me after that crouching medium punch. I know he can't do that, so what does that mean? That means he closed the gap. So with offense, there's 2 types of offense. Okay, guys? I want you guys to remember this for the rest of your lives. There's 2 types of offense. This applies to any fighting game. Alright? You have a tight set of offense, or there is a gap. That's it. That's literally it. What I mean by that is, when somebody has a very tight offense, they commit to the attacks. When somebody has a loose or gap offense, they move in between the offense. Okay? So this is going to level up your defense a lot more. What you have to do is figure out which buttons is my opponent still in throw range. Right? So crouching jab. So if I saw Ken do crouching jab, then I would know that this is more likely to be real. Okay? But if I saw him do crouching medium kick, I'm like, that's not real. So So that means that if I had gotten thrown after that button, that he moved up. So what I would want to do defensively is I would want to counter the moment of the gap, okay? So defensively, all you really have to do, to keep it simple, is you want to block their tight strings, right? Or interrupt the loose gaps. That's it. Because if somebody does like really tight strings, then they're gonna push themselves away from you to where they're not a threat anymore, or as much of a threat. They're still a threat because they have you in the corner, or they have you, whatever, like under blocks then with advantage. But they're not in throw range, so you don't have to worry about throwing. So what you want to do is you want to identify your opponent's offense, defensively speaking. So you see that this Ken player specifically likes to do this, right? This is a true string, or not a true string, but this will beat 3-frame retaliations, right? Because I know that, then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just wait, and he's gonna push himself away, and he's now committed to a minus situation. So now he has to do something. He has to invest bar to keep himself plus, which I'm totally fine with, or he has to just pray I don't punish this on block. All right. Now, defensively too. Another fundamental thing I would like to express with you guys is that if you are beating your opponent and they have V-trigger activated and their V-trigger isn't like a how do I word this? Like some sort of V-trigger that drastically affects like the situation of the match. So that, for example, whoopsies. Good catch, Zeph. So let's say, for example, that you're playing Urian. Urian has his Aegis, right? Aegis is a move that you don't want to block it, all right? That's like a really bad situation to be in. I wouldn't want to block Aegis, okay? But let's say another V-trigger like Ryu's Fireball. His Fireball is kind of underwhelming, so I don't really care too much about it, all right? So in that regard, if I'm playing against Ryu, then I don't mind blocking and conserving my V-trigger bar, my meter management. You see, this is why I was mentioning the meter management earlier, because you want to look at your bars, right? So if I have V meter and I can V reversal and get out of a really bad situation, it's totally worth it. Especially if I'm cornered and I'm like, hey, I need to get out of this bad positioning or this bad situation. So if I see this into this or something, let's try this. If I see this in the corner and I have the bar, why not do this, all right? Sometimes it's even good to do it on block, just so I can create the spacing, all right? Where he can't just automatically throw me. So even though I'm negative, the idea is defensively that I'm trying to teach you guys is that as long as you can force your opponent to have to decide to forego a tight sequence of offense and create a gap so that they're more ambiguous, it actually plays more into your favor, because then that means their offense isn't real. So you see how I'm -2 here, right? I'm -2 here, but he can't throw me right away. He can't. He's not close enough. See? So that means that if Ken wants to throw me, he has to walk up and throw me. But if he walks up, that means that he's not +2 anymore. He's using those plus frames to move, and his throw has startup. So now I can potentially interrupt it. Right? So let's say I go. So we're gonna do this again. I'm gonna save it. Oh shit. I have to freestyle this. Let's see if this works. Oh no, it didn't work. Actually, you know what? There you go. Let's keep it simple. So I'd have to walk up and throw him like that, right? I have to record this again. There you go, perfect. Now this is perfect. So a lot of times this is what people do in -2 situations, is that they'll walk up and try to throw you, right? Okay. So because I know that this is not allowed. You can't do this to me. Alright? So it's good sometimes to just put yourself in a -2 situation like that. You kind of can think of V reversal as a safe DP, where if they block it, you're only -2, and yeah, you do have to technically guess, but some of the V reversals in the game push the opponent so far away that they can't throw you. So like Sagat's, for example, is in my opinion, one of the better V reversals because he pushes his opponent so far away. There's no mix-up. There's none. We're back at basically like my stand medium kick range, my tiger knee range, you know. So V reversal is pretty good here, and because if you're up, especially, man, like if you don't need the comeback, it's very wise to invest that V meter currency into getting out of a bad situation. So if you're playing against a Urian and he does something into Aegis or whatever, of course with variety you don't want to be obvious, but it's not a bad idea to V reversal to just put him in the block stun, so that way he just has to now walk up to you and guess or do whatever he wants to do, right? Sometimes you can just even backdash, like all sorts of stuff because of the startup on their normals. Like if you're far enough, you just have to have a little bit more variety in like your defensive choices, all right? Because too many times at the beginner level, people just DP or they mash jab, or that's it. Like that's it. But they don't see the intricacies of defense as figuring out where is your opponent not real. Like that offense is not real. I'm going to take advantage of that. That's what you want to figure out, okay? So in those situations where somebody can't throw you, their offense is now a lot less diverse in terms of the potential threats that they can hit you with. They can dash, they can jump to close the gap, but that is very risky on their part, because then you can turn that into offense. Your defense should transition into offense. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Now, so let's see. So I showed you guys the example of the throw situation. So the acceptance. So for acceptance, this is more of a mindset thing. This is more of an inner condition that you have to work on. It's not so much external like the vision where you have to focus on the game. This is you. This is your responsibility, like you at this point. All right. So the acceptance, you can never truly be defeated if you have this. If you can just absorb this into your identity as a player. Okay. So first and foremost, a lot of times in combat, mistakes are misinterpreted by the lesser skilled player as having the utmost significance, right? Now, I just realized that was right. I was like, what the hell? So, when you make a mistake, which is totally inevitable, right? Mistakes are inevitable. We have to just accept that. You're gonna make a mistake. You're not perfect. Unless you can perfect your opponent 4 rounds straight in a 2 out of 3 set, you're making a mistake. Mistakes come in varying degrees. Now, I want you guys to remember that. Write that down, please. Mistakes come in varying degrees, okay? So when you find yourself flustered or angry, it's because you've given some sort of significance to that mistake that you made, okay? The difference between Daigo making a mistake and me making the same mistake as Daigo, let's say, right? If I'm a lesser disciplined player, a less confident player, is that I will see that mistake as the end all be all. I'll see that mistake as, oh my god, I lost, right? When you lose in a fighting game, there is not one mistake that can be made that automatically kills you. Even Balrog's turnaround punch. Well, I mean, unless it's the very last one, right?
Smart.
I think that one does more than 1,000.
You loyal.
Richie, thank you, sir.
You great.
For the sub. Hitting the iron will finish the lesson round.
Appreciate
Much love,
that.
Sensei. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So, unless somebody's doing a turnaround punch that does 1,000 damage on a 1,000 health character, you cannot die off of one mistake. It's not a thing in this game. So, yes, somebody can hit you with a combo and it does a lot of damage, but guess what? Because you're not defeated yet, that is another opportunity for you to overcome, and that is a mindset you need to have in this world. All right, because things will happen to you. You will be tested, and you will be put in the same situations over and over again until you graduate and evolve. Now that I think about it, that's how a lot of people lose in this game. They'll be put in the same situations, but they will never evolve past that trouble, that trauma of that situation, and they get stuck there. They become stagnant, right? They become stagnant. So what you have to do is you have to realize, well, hey, this is the problem. Is my thinking. It's how I'm interpreting my mistakes. And once I can see them as not being as drastic, as just being small little things that I can deal with, then you'll be able to better apply the solution. You know what I'm saying? Like handling crazy players. Like just because a crazy player gets in on you once doesn't mean it's the end of the match. Just you have to be like the eye of the storm. The game is the hurricane, but you're the eye of the storm. No matter what happens to you, you are still the same. You are still assessing. You're still confident. You're still trying. That's it. You don't lose until the clock hits 0 and your opponent has more health than you, or your opponent depletes your health, okay? So with that being said, you want to decide how are you going to lose, all right? That's a part of the acceptance aspect of this game, is you want to decide, well, because I understand that no one mistake equates to defeat, then what is it that I'm willing to do, I believe the word is erroneously, what type of error would I be willing to commit so that I'm fine, but I'm just okay with the repercussions. That's what you have to ask yourself. Every player is different. Some players are willing to get jumped in on. Some players are willing to get dashed in on. Some players are willing to get whiff punished because they keep pressing buttons. Some players are willing to get crush countered because they don't want somebody to dash in their face. Some players are they find it's okay to get grabbed 7 times in a row because they don't care about embarrassment. Some players, they'll keep teching because that's what you have to figure out. All right, you have to figure out what is worth losing, because I used to fall into the mental trap if I had to win everything. Ugh, but that's my ego. My ego put me into that mental trap. All right, and that's not real. I seen it with my own 2 eyes. I'm like, wow, this isn't real. Now I'm gonna tell you guys something very funny, right? I was at Canada Cup and I got invited into the Japanese players room. Okay, so this is my first time playing with those guys since like Street Fighter 4. All right, so let's just, I'm gonna go on a side tangent real quick. So I played Nemo in a set. I played Daigo. I played Takeuchi. I played Gachikun. I played so many players, right? And I played Tokido. So Tokido was one of my last sets of the night, and it was so cool because when I was there, I felt like my whole lesson for that weekend was to accept. That was the last major I went to was Canada Cup. So this is how I know this was like my breakthrough, mentally at least, right? So I played Tokido, and we played a first to 3, right? I played Sagat, he played Akuma. Okay, so we played, and Problem X was there. There was mad people there, and so we're playing, and I go up on him 2-0, right? So I went up on him 2-0, and it was a really intense set, and we were just going back and forth. It was really good. So I'm up 2-0, and it's a first to 3. So it's a 1 round apiece, the third match, and I drop a combo, right? That's a mistake. I know we're not talking about defense right now, but we're just talking about the mistake aspect of this. So I made a mistake, and I messed up my combo. And the old me, I felt the feeling come up where it was like, are you... right? I felt it. It was there. But this time what was different was I saw it in real time, and I said, that's okay. And I looked at my friend, and I was like, yo, Elias, I'm still going to win this round. And then he just looked at me. Because it's funny, because when I dropped the combo to kill him, to beat Tokido in the set, 3-0, he just looked at me, and Elias was like, oh. But then I looked back at him, and it was funny because time kind of froze when I had that little exchange with myself. But when I was done talking to myself, I looked at him, I said, I'm still going to win this set. And then like 10 seconds went by of us just like not doing anything, and I just fireballed him like at this perfect time. I don't know what, it just worked. And then I KO'd him, and I won 3-0. And then Tokido did the patented Japanese. This is him, ready? He's like... Right, cool. So, It was amazing. That was the greatest moment of my Street Fighter career, possibly my career. I think me beating Justin in Street Fighter 4 was like peak, but I don't know. But like, that was just such a great moment because of the acceptance aspect of it. That's why I'm trying to tell you guys, because the things I teach you guys, I practice what I preach. I wouldn't be out here teaching you guys stuff that I haven't practiced and, you know, trained myself. That's why I travel to Tokyo, I travel to New York every week, I do all these things. It's because I want to see what works, you know. And then when I figure out what works, I'm like, oh, this works, this doesn't work, get rid of it, right? That's accepting. You have to accept that not everything's going to work for you. It doesn't mean you're a bad player because you didn't make something work. It just means it doesn't work for you. Understand? You guys follow me? Okay. So, because of the inevitability of the mistakes that are going to happen in a match, you have to decide which mistakes are worth making, okay? So you have to know how to lose. Remember that, guys. You have to know how to lose. Decide how you want to lose from now on. Every player you play against, every character you play against, if you want to practice, like I said, like pick a defense, like a certain focus on defense. Let's say I'm going to focus on his spacing. And because of his spacing, I'm paying attention to how his offense is. He wants to dash up on me. He likes to jump, right? How does he try to close the gap? If he doesn't close the gap, that means he's pushing himself away. Okay, that's easy to deal with, right? But if I see he tries to close the gap, if he tries to reinitiate his offense through this fake offense, then I want to see, well, what exactly is he doing based off of his meter, based off of his spacing, and then I try to intercept it. I try to attack, all right? That's the intercepting aspect of defense. You want to position yourself in a way to where you can intercept their attack, and then you can turn that defense into offense now, all right? Right, exactly, Doug. No one really knows how to lose, and that's very important, all right? And either it's okay that you're hard on yourself, because that already happened, all right? It already happened. Like, don't be hard on yourself because you were hard on yourself, because that's just a vicious cycle. We don't need that. We don't need that. We got to get rid of that belief, okay? But right now, it's a new moment. These are new moments that we're in right now, so there's no reason for us to be doing these things. You feel me? I'm proud of you. So, lastly, before we get into the analysis of this one little clip, it's a nice little bonus treat for you guys. But on the opposite end of the coin, because now we know that not one mistake equates to guaranteed defeat, right? That also means that not one successful bit of behavior equates to victory. Understand? So not one mistake equates to defeat. So therefore, on the other end of that polarity, that means that not one ounce of defeat, no matter how big, how small, can automatically guarantee victory. You follow me? So that should give you peace. When you have peace in the moment, when you're in the moment, you're at peace. You don't want anything. You're just playing. That's what I'm trying to teach you here. Is you're just trying to watch. You're just trying to see. When you start to get tense, like really tensed up, and there's all this tension inside of you because you feel like you have to win, that's because you're convincing yourself that you have to do the right thing right now in order to win. I'm not saying there aren't moments like that. When your health dips to a certain percentage, or your opponent has the tools to make you die, then yes, that's a very real fact. But what I'm telling you though, is that you practice this for 99% of the match, and when you get to that 1%, watch how much easier it is for you to maintain that stillness, to maintain that calm and that zen state. Alright? Because victory can't be achieved off of one successful bit of behavior. Defeat can't be either. Alright? So that will help you on the offense too. So when you have to make a comeback, it's not about you doing the one right thing to kill your opponent. Because let's say you try to do something and you missed, and you didn't hit your opponent. You're like, damn, I knew he was going to do that. Well, yeah, it didn't hit, but if it hit, it still wasn't the end of the match. You still had to play. Am I right or am I wrong, guys? Am I right or am I wrong? Right? If you had to make a comeback against somebody, they had 80% health, you had chip, and you go to hit them. Yes, you could have converted that into a really advantageous situation, but just because you messed up or you missed out, as long as you didn't get KO'd, it's another opportunity for you to finish the match. You dig it? You dig me? You still have a chance. What's going on, Dom? I just focus on what could be done better. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Virgo, what's going on, brother? Isaac, what's going on, cuz? Thank you for tuning in. You know? So, that is that for defense. So if I were to put it into, you know, simple terms for you guys again, you know what I'm saying? Just defensively, be okay with making mistakes, all right? It's a mindset thing. It's not about, everybody can do everything in this game. This game's execution it's very simple. It's all a mindset thing. My brother Virgo convinced me of that too. It's a mindset thing. It all starts with up here. If you don't have it up here, it'll never translate down here. And I'm not doing the camera on computers be booting. I'm just saying the arcade sticks. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't have it here, it's not going to correlate. All right? So it has to start up here. Because your inner state translates to your outer state. Okay? So if it ain't here, it ain't going to be here. So when you see people that have great defense, it's because they have that understanding of the moment. They're very present-minded. They're very observant. And they're watching, and they know it's not the end-all, be-all just because they're in a bad situation. Classic example, if you play against Dalsum, right? Dalsum is a character that only beats you when you think you're losing. Am I right or wrong? How many times have you beat a Dalsum without thinking about it, but then, let's say you make a mistake or they hit you or something, and then it starts to snowball because you start to play like you need to win. You start to play desperate. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about. That same Dalsum lesson applies to everybody else. When you get hit, when you make a mistake, you reset yourself because you're in a new moment. You're in a new situation. There's new pushback. There's a new spacing. There's new meter. There's new health changes. There's new stun changes potentially. You feel me? That's what we gotta look for. What's going on, Gorilla Black? Much love to you, man. Thank you for tuning in. So with that being said, I can put this bad boy down, and now I can go to YouTube. Alright, y'all. I gotta switch my monitor real quick. I have two monitors, but it was on the second one was on PS4, so I just gotta change that real quick. Alright, guys, so I know you guys have watched this. Alright. You guys that were not under a rock the past couple weeks. Red Bull Kumite. Pretty godlike tournament. I haven't done analysis on it yet, but I'm going to on Thursday. I'm gonna do analysis on this very set. It was on the syllabus if you guys haven't seen it. But I'm going to do analysis of this set right here on Thursday. So guys, please come back Thursday if you guys are enjoying this experience. I promise you, the stream's only going to get better every single stream. Okay? So with that being said, we're going to watch a situation. This is probably one of the best moments of Street Fighter V that I've witnessed by far. All right? Because of the composure in a game that is known for being volatile and hectic and very offensive and things can snowball. Great representation of that, okay? So let's watch this. I'll show you the syllabus at the end of the stream again, okay? I start at 7 p.m. every Monday and Thursday, guys. 7 p.m. Drill that into your head, okay? I'll make it the same time so you guys don't have to think about it anymore. You're just, Monday, Thursday, 7 o'clock. Okay, cool. All right? So let's watch this. All right, so Daigo's taking the throw. So you see he's taking the throw because he understands that it's not the end of the world. All right? And good of Problem X to know that. Because he's playing against a more intelligent, a more disciplined player, seasoned vet. He understands that Daigo's alert. Daigo isn't just playing to win. He's playing and assessing the entire screen. The whole screen is his playground. So he knows Daigo's looking at the health bar. He knows Daigo knows he's not going to lose off of getting thrown. So he's going to turn that into damage. He's going to turn that into damage, into meter, and, you know. So that's why he throws him back to back. Right? And he knows he's being patient. You see that? So he knows that Daigo is being patient because Daigo knows it's not the end of the world. All right? But now things are starting to change because he's slowly approaching that stun. All right? Now things get very tricky. But you see how he just did that V-reversal there? So he obviously wanted the knockdown, but it's not a bad situation either because Bison wasn't in throw range. So he'd have to have walked up to do something about it. Alright? So he does the stand roundhouse because I guess he thinks that Daigo is going to tech. So, or delay tech. All right, because he's thrown him how many times? He's thrown him back-to-back situations, like threw him 3 times in the span of like 10 seconds. All right, so he's probably thinking Daigo is now in this state. So whenever you're defending, you can also look at your opponent's body language, and you see how they are pressuring you, tells you what they think you're going to do. Understand? So you see he's trying to do a really slow button on a -2 situation because he's trying to catch Daigo delay teching. So that tells Daigo right there he thinks you're going to tech. All right. So in a scramble situation like this, it's really smart that Daigo did this flash kick because the entire moment leading up to this, Daigo was really patient, right? You guys seen that. He wasn't really doing anything besides that neutral jump or that back jump in the corner. He hasn't really done much. So Problem X is probably still like, oh, he's in that defensive mindset still, you know, because I didn't hit him with the roundhouse. All right. So then that's why he tries to go and pressure him, and then he gets flash kicked. Right? Because usually what happens is every opponent has a button or a special that when they do it, it's kind of their confirmation bias in a weird way. Where it's like, oh, I know for a fact you're not going to do anything because I wouldn't do something after this. So that means I should be able to do stuff. You know what I'm saying? Brutus, thank you, sir. I appreciate it, brother, man.
I appreciate that.
The man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I definitely got to fix that notification. But thank you so much for the 3 months in a row of being loyal to the soil. Much love to you, Brutus. You the man with the plan. Hopefully I see you at Vegas, maybe? But, so yeah, back to the video. So you see, like, after he does that roundhouse, he just kind of went into, like, okay, I'm in the offensive mode. You're not flash kicking. You're not throwing. Okay, so I'm going to just pressure you. You know? So that's why that works there. In that situation. Not saying it's going to work every time, but because of the story leading up to that moment, Daigo was being really defensive, so it makes sense. Mr. RGP, thank you so much for the love. Reg, I appreciate it, man. You the man with the plan. Queen's finest right there. I appreciate it, brother. Much love to you, man. So, let's see. So now let's see Problem X. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now, did you see that? Now, that was kind of weird, right? Because if you've seen Problem X on the defensive right here, he just tried to counter poke. But look at how much health he has. Is that really worth it? I don't know. That's a really good question. He's not demonstrating that patience like Daigo was, even though Daigo's the one that doesn't have the life lead. You see, like, that's those very small things. If you are aware, if you're not in your emotions, you can see stuff like that. And then you can be even more confident, like, oh, I know what's going on. But your emotions are what blind you to the truth. All right? And you need to be zen. You can be emotional on the defensive, but you just have to see the emotions as they are and not be them. You know, it's not your identity. You're not frustrated. That's just the past. That's old things that are just creeping up on you and convincing you that you're something or another. All right? But you see that Problem counter poked here. And look at the health bars. Like, Daigo is literally like probably like 170 damage away from dying. Problem is like probably at like 850 health. But he's like already showing signs of desperation. So let's see what happens here. Okay. So usually when somebody overcommits like that, that's a very smart opponent. Like, Daigo sees that he overcommitted because he hit nothing. That's an overcommitment. And he knows Problem X is smart enough to realize, oh shit, I gotta chill the fuck out, right? So that's why Daigo does this. He's like, okay, I'm gonna start pressuring you because you're not, you just realize that you were overextending. So now I can take advantage of how smart of a player you are, right? So that's, see right there. So this is him trying to just reclaim block stun. All right, defensively, that's something that people like to do. They like to get their block stun back so that way they can feel comfortable again. All right. See? So he's not contesting, though. And now look at all that gray health that's accumulated. So you see how he turned his offense into a nice defensive offense position. So it's like he went from defense back to offense because of the fact that he just waited for Problem X, his desperation on defense. You see? and then he just turns that into knockdown and more gray health. Now look at that. You see? Now you see how he's doing big moves? Fundamentally speaking, a lot of ST players know, like, well, not ST players, but like a lot of like the older players know that jumping at a cornered opponent is very dangerous because all they have to do is jump. They have to dash underneath you or anti-air you and get some knockdown to establish their pressure. But dashing underneath is, of course, a lot crazier because then now you're in the corner. That really sucks, right? But so for somebody like Daigo who was just showing so much discipline, for him to start doing big moves like this, remember we talked about big moves many streams ago, which is on my YouTube. You guys can find that on there. But we talked about big moves, and this is a big move. That dashing, that's a big move, right? And the jump is also a big move, right? Because he knows that problem is not doing anything in certain moments. That's why he kind of tests him and he watches. You see? See, now he's contesting. And that was really good. That was really good. So that entire sequence of offense was designed to prevent that EX stomp. That's literally it. Because if he delay techs, he gets hit by that. If he tries to EX stomp, which a lot of Bisons like to do during parts of your pressure that kind of puts you outside of like throw range, they'll just kind of reversal just to get out of the corner. They'll stomp on you and then they'll try to escape. So this pressure right here was just designed for that. See? Because he didn't do it though. He didn't do it. He didn't do it in the sequence. He did it there because he has the bar. So you see how he completely changed his pressure once he got the bar. See? Now he's doing more back fists. So defensively, this is important to pay attention to your meter. How does your meter influence your opponent? Because now you see Daigo's doing more back fist. Because back fist, or is that, I don't know if it's called back fist, but the bare knuckle punch, whatever it is. I think back fist is when he spins. But when he does the back fierce, that hits mid-high. Alright? So on the mid-high frames, it's going to catch an EX stomp on the uprising. Okay? So you can use this to your advantage if you're problem X, where you can go, so you're doing more back fist because you're trying to hit me out of my EX stomp. Okay, so that means I might be able to just block this straight up and then just wait for my opportunity, or I can try to interrupt it. If you don't have enough advantage, of course. But you see? So this is also turning a defensive situation into offense. So he is -2 here, right? Actually, he's -4? I think he's like -4. But he turns this defensive situation into offense by jumping back. Alright? So that's how you can turn your defense in an offensive situation into even greater offense. Because obviously he has him cornered, but he just put himself at a -2 situation. So his gap is it worth Daigo going and pressing something after a -4 move? Probably not. And he knows that Problem X is getting really finicky, right? And Problem X just exhibited that he was using bar to try to get out of the corner. But he sees that over here, Problem X doesn't have bar, but he has V-trigger. So what is he most likely going to do? Probably just use it to get out. And it's not even done yet. This is the best part of the match. So, that's so good. So he doesn't want to contest this because that move is so like... EX stomp is very difficult to deal with, especially because he doesn't have charge. You see how he's walking back? Problem X sees him walk back, all right? And it's very possible that Daigo walked back on purpose to try to make him EX stomp just so he doesn't have to worry about the meter. Because I think EX scissors was actually scarier for Daigo than EX stomp. Because EX stomp, he can just block it. It's not like he can get command grabbed or anything like that, right? So I think he was just willing to take that, right? So he's fine here because he knows he just has to hit him with one light attack. He just needs one hit, and it's game over. So he's not in throw range, so you see how he hasn't teched, he hasn't lost his composure, because he understands, like, the only real thing that you can do is hit me with attacks. See right here, he didn't tech because he knows that if he is wrong on that he is in a bad situation. He's going to get whiff punished and he's dead, right? And he's out of the tournament. So instead, he goes for a different type of defensive answer. Something that would just throw off Problem X enough. See? And he committed to it. He wasn't seeing that. He wasn't expecting that. But you see, he's willing to lose by that throw. Because he knows, well, you'd have to do something crazy in order to throw me. So he does the low forward to try to catch him in case he's walking. But he doesn't. And he jumps back again. Because I think he's anticipating scissor kick. Nice. So why didn't Daigo tech here until he moved forward? So we'll go back to the previous situation with this. And here's your answer. Did you see that? That was so subtle. I don't know if you guys saw that. So watch after he lands. Watch Bison's movement. He walked in and he walked back. So again, just like Daigo was paying attention to Problem X's defensive mindsets in each moment, this told Daigo, oh, this is how you want to KO me, right? With the shimmy. Okay. Alright. So that first one, when he shimmied him, but nothing happened, you see he did that jab, because he thought he was going to walk up and throw him. But, right here, when he dashed up on him, he's like, you just tried to shimmy me. I know you're going to try to shimmy me again. But the difference is he walked back forward. He didn't walk back forward last time before that. Before that, he did stand medium kick right away. So that movement forward was enough for Daigo to be like, oh yeah, let me tech this. Yeah. See? If you watch it in like now that I've explained it, you'll probably be able to see it a lot easier. And he waited. See? He waited. Smart. Because he saw that Problem X's rhythm at that moment, he wasn't immediately going for the things he wanted. So it was okay for him to confirm, wait, what is he doing? Nothing? Okay, fireball. Boom. Because he's trying to wait. So he was trying to wait. He's like, I'm going to wait a little bit less than you, and then I'm going to KO you. So we'll have full analysis of that set on Thursday. But that is